Saludos, campeón.
Ah, gracias, hermano. Un placer, man.
Yeah, contento por ti, man. We happy for you, man, and all your success.
Gracias, hermano, man. Muchas bendiciones. Gracias de corazón, mi latino.
Órale, pues. So my first question for you is, how hard does David Tua hit?
Oh, yeah, I really forgot about that one. It's interesting. Before I answer that question, he was one of my, he was one of actually the hardest puncher I fought. But one of my greatest performers in boxing, win, lose, or draw, was against David Tua. I
The
put
first
a
8 rounds.
ASCO
First 7 rounds.
master boxing. I mean, one-on-one. For my Ali Page book, it was one of my greatest fights in my career to this day. I'm so proud of myself. People like what you did to him, the way you boxed him. I mean, people are like, man, you hurt him. I mean, I stunned him. I mean, even after the fight, the acknowledgement that David Tua gave me after the fight, man, I did things that Lennox Lewis, couldn't do. He went 12 rounds, but I was outboxed. I mean, it was just I got so comfortable and my inexperience, of course, thinking that okay, I'm gonna knock this guy. I mean, I'm hitting him with everything, boxing him, and try to go toe to toe, and you see what happened. I made a mistake. He caught me. I was hurt. Even though I was hoping, give me a knockdown or something, and let me, fight. Don't just stop it, But they stopped it. I was a little wild, but I was, a little hurt. But man, let me go down and get a chance to get up. But this is boxing. I live to fight another day. The hardest puncher, bar none. Yeah, he punched way harder than Holyfield.
Yeah, I figured that much. I know you had that close fight with Chris Bird. Some people think you won the fight. How much does that cross your mind daily?
All people think I won that fight, especially in my country and here in Chicago. But anyway, it's bothersome. Like I was talking to my brother here. I just hope, let bygones be bygones. Chris Bird just man up and man, George Foreman, Jim Lampley, they were like pleading, like, damn, Chris, even Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder gave this to Fred. Come on, Chris. I mean, even if you see the fight after, the fight in his mouth, he got this, he won this. You can hear Bird saying that he knew it was my fight.
Mm.
And it's just sad. It was a black guy for boxing, and it bothers me, man. It took it took my shine, man. I mean, I was supposed to be the heavyweight champion of the world at the age of 29.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, after the labrum surgery, even though you had victories against Daniel Bispo and also against Javier Mora, were you 100% healed and healthy, or was the urge to fight driving you back into the ring?
For which fight?
After the surgery, the labrum surgery?
Yes.
Did you heal 100%? Like, were you healthy and healed, or was it just the urge to fight, or maybe the necessity for money driving you back into the ring?
That's a good question, man. You study your thing. Interesting question. Number one, I'm land. It's in the blood. I'm a fighter. I'm from the mud. I grew up from third world country, Puerto Rico, came to Chicago. Was in a, how they say, concrete jungle, one of the worst projects in Chicago. Here I am today. So to answer that question, yeah, I had degenerative arthritis, but like I was telling my man earlier, I weather the storm. I'm into natural holistic. I take supplements. I didn't have to do, shoulder replacement like, unfortunately, Chris Bird, with the hip and all that. So I weather the storm. I had my labrum. I had torn labrum, rotator cuff. Yeah, yes, through all the years of punching and bunching. Remember, I've been fighting amateurs. I had over 100 fights. So thank God, I had a little wear and tear, but I protect my mind. My head. That's very, very vital to my career. And I felt, my youth, my healing. So I was able to weather the storm, and I still had a lot to give. Yeah, I ended up, recuperating pretty well, because that was, right before the Daniel Bispo fight. You're right, before the Holyfield fight. So, I had a couple of good fights. What was his name? Mora, who I fought in San Diego. Was it Javier Mora, who knocked out Kirk Johnson, and that was his next fight. And Freddie Roach was in my corner for that fight as well. After the surgery, I felt great. I ended up, almost stopping him the first round. I ended up stopping him later on, but no, I mean, I was looking forward to return the ring, and I mean, it slowed me down a little bit, as far as timing wise, get my timing back in boxing, get back in the ring. I mean, it slowed me down, yeah, it did slow me down, but as far as, did it hurt my, my boxing stand, my career? No, no, I was good. I was good. I'm still good to this day. Thank God for the natural remedies that I'm, taking upon myself to this day. Everything natural, and that's why I'm still here.
Mm.
Right on. So, who's the best boxer you've been in a ring with, including sparring? Complete fighter.
Oh, interesting. Good question. One of the hardest fights, believe it or not, man. It was a fight that a lot of people had me down. Actually, I was 11-1 underdog, and he was steamrolling. He beat Clay Bay, he beat Cliff Causer. He almost knocked, actually, he demolished Lamont Brewster. This is before Brewster knocked out Klitschko. The Black Rhino, man. He was the next Joe Frazier. He just signed a multi-million-dollar fight. Once again, it's Dan Grusin and them, throwing me to the wolves, what's per se. But I was ready. It was my time to shine. I just signed with Tito Trinidad's father, Papa Trinidad. I ended up moving my family, myself, to resurrect my career. To keep my career going strong. So the confidence built in me. And that was the only difference that put confidence was just my inner circle, my family, my team knew that I was gonna win that fight. The whole boxing world didn't. It was the biggest, upset at that time. James Prince was or the Black Rhino's advisor. Like I was telling my man earlier. I met up with Gabe and the prospect, and I told him that story. And Jamie Prince's partner, who was at that moment, it was like last month in Vegas when I was training at Mayweather. They're like, man, you guys, man, Fred, you messed me up, multi-million-dollar deal. You knocked out the Black Rhino. We were laughing, just joking of our history. But that fight right there, I had to suck it up. I don't know if you've seen that fight. He hit me with some monstrous hook, and I weathered the storm. I mean, he hit me real hard, but thank God I was in one of the best shapes of my life. Great, great camps I had in my country in Puerto Rico, and of course having the backing of the legendary Tito Trinidad, my big brother, backing me and motivating me mentally. That's what put me over the top against the Black Rhino, and that's why I'm here today. And that was a hard fight for me. The Black Rhino, he was one of the toughest, rough, and I ain't gonna lie, I had fear in that fight. You know what I'm saying? In all fights, if a fighter says, "Oh, I ain't fear," I'm going in there. BS, but that fear was in there. But that brought the best out of me, and the rest is history.
Yeah, you end up knocking them out like in the 8th round or something.
Yep. 8 knockdowns, 7 or 8. I forgot how many. It was the most knockdown in a world class heavyweight champion in a fight.
Yeah.